Mandy, we move on to another match now that I think could potentially be a little bit interesting. Man LFO, just what a name. It's actually Man Esports, LFO, technically. Play Panic Esports. And do you think I'd be right in saying this might be one of the more unknown quantities coming into this?
Yes, I think you'd be right. So Panic have got, well, we'll probably jump into the rosters a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, they're pretty unknown. A lot of these guys are either debuting into Pro League or are having a pretty fresh season going into it, like they've played one before historically, but have been on and off the game, that type of thing. So yeah, I would say they're a pretty unknown quantity, probably the most unknown in the 8 that we've got.
Yeah, I would. I mean, that's got to be it, right? Like you've got, I think it's 2 names that have never played T1 before, and really the other players haven't always, like they've never been in that really top 2, top 3 conversation. So it's very difficult to give context as to, who they are, where they come from, what to expect. We've seen a couple of them, in the past, Odium, NQS for those that really remember back to stage 1. Just dropped my pen. Doesn't take much for me.
No one noticed until you said it.
Well, I don't know. I looked on the camera.
The 3 of you that noticed, well done. You get a cookie.
Smart. But look, it's probably fair to say that this is a good game for both of them to start on, considering the fact that they're both still kind of coming together for this stage.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest here. Looking at the names on these rosters and looking at the history of these rosters, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a Man Esports LFO game to lose, right? This is the former Mammoth roster that we're actually rising to the top from last place in stage 1 to top 4, and then at the Rex tournament, the campaign, they got top 2 and actually put a decent-ish fight against the top dogs.
Decent.
On Bliss. Yeah, decent-ish. Maybe not amazing, but few can boast doing that against Bliss. And while they did lose Frixel and Killerman, they're 2 big fraggers, they got Cairo and Player. And these guys are basically the star players from the old Odium roster. Cairo has so much experience back on that wildcard roster. Player also, he was on Knights for a little while. He's a really solid fragger. And Scars is a pretty solid player as well. We've seen a little bit of him. He's definitely the least known quantity here. You got a great IGL like Hunter. You got a really solid shotgun player in Chef Jeff and someone to keep the vibes up. And I think you got what could be a little bit of a rounded roster, and certainly one that would, I think, contemplate to be in that top 4. I know it's a big call, but I definitely think this could very much be a stronger roster than Odium, for example, and Odium would definitely regard as one of the top teams.
Mandy, when I spoke to Chef earlier, or Jeff, or Chef Jeff, whatever you want to call him, old mate, when I spoke to old mate earlier, his big comment coming into this stage is pretty much that the BO1 portion of it, the round robin factor is going to really just warm teams up for the playoffs. And his main point was, between the preseason tournament we had in January and the Blast qualifiers, there was about a month. And so there were a lot of roster changes that happened in there. He believes that no roster is truly going to be settled. How do you think that will play out in the matches?
I think it's fairly true, to be honest. I think that, not only has the rosters changed quite a lot since the campaign back in January, but the game has changed quite a little bit as well. I think the way that the new patches rolled out has definitely, I think, shaken up mechanically the way that the game rolls out. And I think for a lot of these younger players, it's sort of their rock, right? Like their foundation into the game. And it's certainly a new way to not only have to learn to play with a new roster, but then also sort of have to learn the new motions of the game as well. I think it will be quite challenging, and I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, it was an interesting comment, because I hadn't really thought about that. The fact that for the players and teams, there were so many drastic changes between that tournament and now the open qualifiers for what is the OCE League. This is a really intriguing roster to me. But the one that's probably the most unknown to audiences is Panic Esports, a roster that is put together of, I guess for us, we've seen some of these players around the region for a very long time, but for the international viewers, really they probably wouldn't have a firmer grasp on this roster as a whole, Dev. There's 2 players, I believe it's River and Owen, that haven't played at the top level of OCE yet. What are we expecting for this?
I'm pretty unsure of what to expect out of Big Dogs. Now, we did see these guys play in the Rect campaign, but not at all last year, so this roster kind of formed as I mean, it sounds a bit harsh to say, but you could argue that like this isn't a lot of star players here. Maybe Karma has formed a bit of a name for himself. Maybe Realers or Fakers, depending on whatever name he wants to go by at the moment. But the rest of it, it's really like kind of new upcoming players, or players that have been kicking around the tier 2, tier 3 scene for a while.
Yep.
And yeah, they had a solid shot in the campaign, but they didn't make it to the playoffs in the end, and they ended up actually 14th out of 15. They only won a single map in the Swiss system. So
Why'd you have to do it to them like that?
I mean, I'm just trying to contextualize it for people because, if anything, that really gives credit to how they managed to achieve making it to this point, right? They had to beat some really solid teams. They actually 2-0'd Circular Spheres in the qualifiers
I think
to
that
get
might
here.
be Academy team.
Oh, was it
on that.
SCS Academy? Okay. Oh, yeah, it is. Now I see that. Well,
Good
okay.
pickup, Mandy. Good pickup. That was so
Sarah.
quick.
Well, forget about any credit I gave them for that game. But, you know, they did 2-1 SDO, and SDO, I mean, that was the last team to qualify for this. It was going to be one of the two teams, and I think that, I don't know, credit to Big Dogs for getting it over SDO. SDO is probably a slightly more established team, I would have thought, and we saw them through the campaign. We saw a lot of their players in the OCE League last year. I definitely think Panic Esports is like the, you know that meme where there's like the army dudes like sitting there and then there's the clown?
Yes.
Like, if there's any odd one out,
my
if there's any odd one out in the league right now, it is Panic, but I'm ready to be proven wrong.
On that note, let's go to the Vetoes, where hopefully they can apply some ice to that burn. Yikes. I feel sorry for you, Panic. But look, I've thrown you under the bus there.
For you, actually.
Oh, please.
So have a look at the logos, right? Man versus Panic. It's man versus beast. Can they tame the beast?
God.
It's like a biblical, like the man versus the serpent. I want to see this happen.
Yeah. Well, guess what? We actually get to see this happen. That's the best part about it.
Where are we going?
I don't know what's left.
Chalet.
Well done.
Well, I got that one right. Obviously, a map that we've seen play through and through in the OCE League, Mandy. I think every team. This is maybe this is a strange comment to make, but I feel like this has become the clubhouse of old in the OCE scene. It's very much become the stomping ground for a lot of teams. What are we expecting to see from both of these as we head to that?
I think that is a very fair comment. I feel like Chalet and Clubhouse are the more developed maps of the map pool now.
Yep.
And it seems to be a pretty big staple for OCE and sort of the global pool in general, to be honest. Between these two teams, I still think that I'm leaning in towards Man LFO. I feel like they should be the more established team. Chalet, they should know how to play it. Panic will probably kind of know how to play it as well, but maybe not as good as Man, and that's about as much as I can give you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's probably really important just to contextualize the experience difference here, Dev.
Oh, yeah,
you're talking, you're talking about, even when you look to your Chef Jeff and your Hunters, they've really only had 6 to 12 months of that level. But then when you look at players like Cairo and you look at players like Player, it feels like between those four, they've got a really sturdy base to go from. Whereas, Panic,
Owen, River,
it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah,
at least for the first.
I will say credit to Panic, though. This is a map that they're fairly familiar with, so they did actually win this in overtime against SDO in that qualifying game to get here. But I think the best result, as my tablet needs a bit of a shake, the best result that we've seen on Chalet from Panic was back when they were Big Dogs, and they actually almost beat Odium 7-8 in the qualifiers. And Odium seemed to be a pretty solid team. We haven't seen them with their new lineup yet since Cairo and Player departed, but I'd like to be optimistic here for Panic. Personally, just biased towards getting to see some new gameplay. I just want to see Deimos. Like, we haven't really talked about him yet, but I think Deimos could be pretty useful on Chalet basement if you want to go for a roam clear, but you can keep Deimos outside the building. You just use him for info gathering to help your roam clearers. That's the kind of thing I want to see, and I reckon a player like Cairo tends to be the kind of guy that actually wants to experiment with those new strats. So I'm hoping that we get to see some fancy stuff out of Man Esports. I
think Man Esports might be the more put-together team. Doesn't mean that they'll be more put together in the server. You want to see Deimos? I want to see Shake. Shake your booty, Jake and Guz.
I'm not sure if that's safe for stream. Rob will keep the shaking to a minimum, but big game coming up. Two teams that probably don't have the same expectations as our previous matchup, but every chance for them to prove us wrong and every chance for them to make a bit of a statement here on the opening day of the Oceania League. Man Esports LFO taking on Panic. Great to see another local organization, of course, make their entrance into Rainbow Six as well. As we head to the old Chalet.
I don't think it's pronounced that
Chalet.
way. Chalet. the one and only hoodie that you have in your collection.
It is. It is a very overused.
All right, let's jump in. Panic Man Esports. I mean, I feel like this actually has the potential to be quite a competitive game. My expectations, though, probably lay a little bit higher on Panic, and an expectation that they are going to perform better in this game with the manpower that is backing them at the moment. Whereas for Man Esports, it's a little bit of a different story. So we'll see how they go. Obviously, the experience of the likes of Cairo and Player, though, will play their part. Chef Jeff as well has found his mark. I mean, even Hunter to an extent as well. So let's jump in. Let's Dockerby off the board first. And to follow up, I would anticipate Yung. There she is.
Nice, Guzzle.
And then defensively, we are likely going to see... I mean, it kind of depends.
Come on.
I'd say Solus and Valk, but there's potential for something different in there. I'm not very confident in my picks, if you couldn't tell.
You're great at your picks. We got the Souls first, banned out by Panic as it comes through now. It's not. Weird. Well, I guess they didn't quite get the memo. Sorry, maybe your picks aren't right. Fenrir gets banned off by Panic. Man Esports with the final one here. And yeah, look, coming into this game as well, to set the expectations, I mean, I think Man Esports probably have more familiar names. For Panic Esports, though, it could very much be a case of up-and-comers. I mean, obviously, Karma, Real is Sean very much more prominent. And then you got Owen and River. As Valkyrie does get banned out, Solus available. Keeping that in mind.
That's half right.
Half right.
And I should also reinstate what I said before in terms of expectations. I think I said I had them higher on Panic. I was meant to say Man Esports, again, with the experience that they have, just backing up on what you just said. But Panic, I think, have potential in this match to play a little bit of an upset role, right? Those players themselves are also starting to get a better feel at this kind of level of play. And depending what they've been able to get up to on the off-season, quite a long break, maybe they'll be a little bit more redefined heading into this stage.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Of course, Cairo, Chef Jeff, Player. I mean, these guys now have been around for quite a while. We talk about expectations and sort of the desire for these kind of players. Can they take that next step? Because arguably that's probably what they need to do. Let's see for these guys' new look lineup when it comes to Man Esports LFO, but they've all been around the block. I mean, even Hunter as well. And so with that, it's a question of where are you guys going? Are you going up? Are you going to be starting to contend? Is this roster that's been put together going to surprise? Can it be a top 2 roster, top 3 roster? I'm hoping by the end of the group stage we'll be a little bit more clear on that, but obviously the journey now begins. Defense to begin on Chalet, and it is Chef Jeff. Opening kill on to River. That's the Grim dealt with as well. Wonderful operator to take off the board for the defense.
Onus then on Panic to try and formulate a play in response, and Karma will sneak into Mudroom, maybe see if you can catch a rotation here from the defense. I am anticipating that it's a library stairs hold / mezzanine early on here, and that will be the case. Player currently on the 0.5 library stairs. And perhaps a bit of an off-meta position that, if not droned, could catch this attack off guard.
Yeah, drone just making its way down the hallway, but more so towards kitchen and dining than it is library stairs. Keeper barrier does give away a bit of noise. Intel, Scars taking a battle as well. Top library loses to Reelers. Lovely line of sight from library towards the end of that hallway. Even despite that deployable shield, and Chef Jeff as well, now from basement. Another kill for him, 2 in the round, deals with Karma. Deals with a bit of that library pressure, as Sean also losing his life. Finally, Reelers able to confirm that kill onto Scars. He did get the knock earlier, finds a second onto Cairo, who I think was just looking to reinstate that position. 90 seconds left into the round, still an advantage for Man Esports, but now no longer. Owen with the kill onto Player makes it a 2 versus 2 with plenty of time as well remaining in the round.
Exothermic available as well, and no wall denial for defense if they want to get it opened. Owen elects not to initially, but then will change his mind. Wall opened up, Reelers to play the backline. He's not in a vertical position. 60 seconds, so if there's one thing going the way of Panic from here, it is time. They do have drones. Unfortunately, though, I think unlocking this defense
Worried about the Oryx.
is going to be tough. Oryx flank potential. Chef loves playing that.
Chef's on site, though.
But they're playing deep, and that's the nature of this objective. If there's no vert pressure on these positions, you can sort of sit back and play, you know, those strongholds.
Love the perceived pressure, though. Also, the game sense to even anticipate that. It's something we've seen a lot on Kitchen and Dine, and the Oryx likes to roam below, and that's exactly where Chef Jeff has been, roaming around there in the basement. 2 kills to his name. Could very well go down West Main and go for that said flank, but he just holds. Long corridor hallway, and that's an easy headshot onto Owen. Now Reelers. And a 1-on-2, 20 seconds. Kit in front of him. Lovely shot onto Chef Jeff. 1 left. In towards Kitchen. May look to go for the swing. Behind the bomb chassis now, Hunter with the ACOG. Should win out, you would imagine, and has been able to do so.
You good?
I was waiting for you
You're just sitting
to
there
say
like
something.
a statue. You didn't look at me. I thought you may have had some incredible call cooking
No,
up.
I don't think so, mate. It's the opening day of the Oceania League. Wine and Snow to come in the second round, but an interesting round. I thought, man, Esports, and especially Chef Jeff on the roam, doing a really solid job to get themselves an early advantage, but Panic, they were able to kind of keep themselves composed. This is the peak. Lovely shot from Chef Jeff. And even in that 2-on-2, there certainly was a chance for Panic to maybe take that round, not to beat. Man, Esports held strong. And I didn't mind the decision as well for Chef Jeff to actually just sit site, play as the 2-man. It's very easy in that moment as the Oryx to maybe go for a roam down West Main, look for the push through the hatch. But you do that, you're a bit of a solo. You leave your other teammate on an island on site. Instead, they just played as a duo, and it paid dividends. Snow Wine, basement, second round.
So in response then to the basement pick, Panic are going to 6-pick, or I suppose attack re-pick rather. That was
6-pick? What year is it?
Into the time. Well, we are on the retro broadcast, so I think that's fair. We are going to see again that double vert play. So Buck, Ram, and you think about a site like basement, exposed to a lot of that first floor fireplace area. Makes it a little bit more uncomfortable for the defense to hold positions like the con wall, con itself. Rotating in and out of blue sometimes can become a bit of a problem as well. But to get that control, to get those bully auto breaches, to get the skeleton key activated, you are going to have to clear a significant portion of the map. So it does up the difficulty here a little bit for Panic, and there will be greater emphasis on time management.
Yeah, you definitely have to get through that first stage first. Clear out. Drone game, super important up above. Make your entries quick if you possibly can, as Sean is kind of doing now through Library and a live drone as well with River. So far, I like this from Panic. Yeah, okay, no one really contesting up above for Man Esports, but they're still in critical positions like Trophy Stairs. And now rotating off is Cairo. Clubs a shot from Owen, outside of Trophy. And a really good top clear already now from Panic. Time was good as well. They start to put pressure on this first floor, look to clear out even more. And they haven't overcommitted into the clear in terms of operator lineup, where it comes to your Jackals, for example. Now they can kind of use the Bark, use the Ram. They've got plenty of utility to actually open up the floorboards to first floor, and then later on into basement.
So that's 2 auto breaches already used by the Ram, and
still
we're
got the
nowhere
Buck.
near
You still got the Buck.
the objective. Yeah, Buck's still in play though. That's interesting. Bar hatches reinforced as well. Man, Esports though not banning those positions though.
They're all on the side. They're all down below. Play open towards Big Garage.
I wonder if they know the Azami is there, because player could be in a big position. And judging on the body language, this attack has no idea.
Jeff.
Double swing, and Chef falls.
Not sure if he needed to do that. Karma then gets the kill onto player. Had the information from the earlier swing. Kyra able to get involved. Now playing in towards Wine. Has, of course, got the keeper barriers. Hunter also has a way out of Boiler with that rotate hole. Not sure what he was looking at there. Maybe expecting to get droned out. Cairo loses his life to River. Suddenly a big moment here for Scars, and he should be able to get the kill. Does. Drake comes through. 3-on-2. And a Nitro Cell available? No. There goes Hunter, and Scars has already used it, so now he's by himself in Boiler. No, sorry, over towards Blue. Boiler taken by Panic, and they can go for the default plant off of it.
Oh, the shots, they come through initially. Glasses in response to
Good
the
angle.
flash, but doesn't matter. Shot able to work around that keeper barrier. And in the 3 versus 1, Panic too good.
So no real snow pressure there. Very much looking to take that Boiler side. Rotate hole in towards default towards the end. Really nicely done from Panic. Not sure what Jeff was doing there. Oh, that was a little bit of a moment that kind of cost Man Esports. It meant that that boiler position needed to be backfilled. It was, but then an easy swing from Reelers, who was already in a good position at that corridor. He was watching the doorway in. Love that peak as well on the angle of the keeper barrier. 1-1. Panic will get on the board with an attacking round here on Chalet.
Yeah, I think there's a very real world in which this ends up being quite a close game. I'm seeing a very forward defensive setup here from Man Esports. There was a reinforcement on Conwall in single Rio office, so there'll be line of sight facing double window. And instead of also playing line of sight then through to top library stairs, instead we're seeing both the piano hallway with the deployable shield, castle barricades as well, with I believe Footholes library. You then add in the likes of these frost mats as well. And there's just layers of complexity that the attack of Panic will need to deal with, and it shouldn't be a complete surprise, a setup like this. It's nothing brand new. But again, maybe something that isn't shown too often in Scrim. So we'll see how they go about unlocking it. Again, really good utility to deal with it. A lot of explosives off the back of the Ash, the Flores as well. And then you add in the likes of the Grim as well with that layer of information that can be provided.
So far, it's been a pretty decent start to this game. Chalet as a map, though, can probably just be a little bit more enjoyable at times. Caught on the stairwell there. I thought play was dead to rights, actually, but not committing on the swing. And suddenly, with that play, is actually able to get a freebie onto Sean. I don't know if it was Karma. Was it Karma inside bar who could have gone for that swing down the corridor, but he just opted not to. Could have got a pretty easy kill onto player who was kind of caught repositioning. Holds the better angle, no longer in the middle of the stairwell, now hides behind the keeper barrier. Man Esports with the man advantage. And no Roteros with that Flores. So it's just a regular drone meeting player, no Rotero.
So 90 seconds then, and a standoff over towards library stairs. Player continues to hold this position, almost indiscriminate to the objective. And Panic need to find a way to try and unlock it again. They've got the tools. Even without the Roteros now available, they do have other ways to dislodge these positions. Ambitious, but there is a trade. So 3 versus 3, 70 seconds, and we'll see if Man Esports are able to hold on. A rotation to come through over towards Solar, and Hunter to hold down the line at half wall.
Yeah, good for time here. Panic, don't have to rush this. More than enough utility as well to make entry into sight. Over towards Ego for Owen has, of course, got big window. Karma with library corridor control, but they haven't actually got piano. So Chef Jeff's still in a really good position to be able to maybe salvage this round for Man Esports. Don't think he needs to push. More so hold the angle so that you can't really push through that doorway. 3 drones remaining, and they are actually utilizing them because there is still time. Talk about the timing, though, on that. Momentarily, Chef Jeff was holding this angle. Karma's made his way in. Chef Jeff might get caught off guard here. And Elbow is peeking out, and there's a team kill elsewhere. No idea how that has happened for Man Esports. The player gets shot by Cairo, Cairo then falls, and Karma will clean them all up. What has happened there on the defense?
Yeah, pretty sloppy there from Man Esports. The attack had no dislodge tools. There were no smokes to cover lines of sight, no flashbangs, Grim dead. The crosses held from defense. In my eyes, they had a very strong position, arguably weakened by the fact that no one was in piano itself at the time. It was Chef Jeff quite late in the piece, and he didn't have initiative on that first fight, but even still, the rest of it fell apart. Team kill didn't help.
Should have he actually taken position in piano, though, with no real defensive utility?
I'm not saying he should have. He couldn't because of the line of sight. I'm just saying that not having that cross meant that entry in sight was aided. It also meant that Karma was able to get an advanced position himself, and they didn't need dislodge utility because he was just running in with a gun and nobody was in a good enough position to actually shut that down.
Yeah, didn't quite see how that team kill transpired either, which made things even more difficult for Man Esports. Chef Jeff back onto the Oryx. Well, it worked last time. Castle barricades going up as well, courtesy of Cairo. Kitchen and dining extension up above. Very much expecting Chef Jeff to be a menace maybe towards basement. We'll see if that will be employed. Obviously on the Oryx. So far I think he was over towards Barstock. Roaming around. 2 of his 3 kills from that opening round. From his time on the Oryx. So expecting him to get involved again. Library side on the roof already for Panic. Again, they'll probably make their entry in through Library. Big window, mezzanine. Sweep across that way in towards top floor.
Again, I can't help but feel like Karma, again, is going to be a key player in the round in finding these windows of opportunity, these pockets of space, a weakness in the defense, an opportunity to get his team in a winning position or convert winning positions. Again, aggressive deployable shield, Piano Hall, and again, player down below. But it's Karma to punish. He just sits inside of mud again.
What is he doing?
And player baited out by perhaps a misread or a piece of utility like a drone.
Is the Library stairs player holding and he's pushing in towards bar, maybe expecting to get into a reposition for big window. I'm throwing into games, but you just don't need to. You got a really good position, force them to clear you out. Just goes wandering, caught, freebie, stairs control. Available now as well for Panic with the player advantage. They've got 2 Scars over towards bathroom. But it's a kind of deeper position. No one really from Man Esports probably in the best position to sort of fire back here mid-round. Still 70 seconds left in the round. A little bit more defense, at least with that line of sight from the bathroom looking in towards Piano. So it's a bit better than the previous round, but so far Panic have just been the better team.
Attackers have located a bomb.
We keep seeing these really long distance engagements through multiple lines of sight, arguably favoring whichever side has more ACOGs on the board or more magnified scopes because they are lines being held and ADS time irrelevant. Scars with an important job to do here. Does he know there's a player already inside of Piano? If not, it could prove costly, but that prone sound from Karma should give away the cue.
Scars doesn't have to do anything though. There's 30 seconds left. Time is just kind of evaporated. Man Esports don't really need to be the ones pushing. He does though, and he does actually checkbot the bottom of the Piano, and it does get the goal into Karma. Cairo follows up as well. Panic have only got themselves to blame in this round. They just came to a standing halt. It's like they got office control and library control and then just stopped. Easy for Cairo. You haven't cleared above. You didn't do anything up above.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, I don't want to be too overly critical, but this was a round that really, Man Esports didn't have to do all that much later in the round, despite the early mistake from player pushing in towards games. Because Panic just kind of came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, it was a little bit strange when we look up and there's 40 seconds to go. Karma's on the floor in Piano. No one's really supporting and aiding that
No one's
position.
clearing office. No one's getting control.
Instead, stacking breach. Maybe they're just counting their chickens before they hatch and maybe anticipated the ability to overflood or overload the site and then get into position not exposed to vert. Perhaps that was the strategy, but if it was, the execution was far from perfect. And to the credit of Man Esports, they countered that entire playstyle like absolutely perfectly by retaking office, shutting down and re-aggressing onto Karma, sensing that time was low. But yeah, the attack didn't put up much resistance.
Yeah, I think also Scars getting that kill into Piano, so important there. Kind of mentioned if he knew he was there. I don't think he actually did. I think he just was able to check it off of game sense. So we go 2-2. 2 rounds to go in the half.
5 seconds left.
I think both teams probably feel like there's an extra level they can go to. Mistakes are plenty, sure. Got to be able to punish them. Both teams have been able to punish them. Down to basement now for the 5th round. Yorick has been shelved though for Chef Jeff. Back over to Smoke. I imagine playing Boiler. Was playing it last time and got very aggressive. With the Smoke though, you can go far more defensive. Block off entry with the gas babes. You don't even really need to contest. Default getting shot out here over towards West Main. A little bit of a contest there from Cairo. Well, aggressive towards Kitchen, but I like this. Couple of entry points that you can deny in terms of trophy. West Main does, of course, need to be mindful of maybe getting pinched. And so up above goes Karma.
Well, it is that same Buck-Ram combo that we have seen previously. And that Vert utility employed in some intriguing ways. Player
Wow, this is
1 and 4. This is a bad position. You're dead.
Yeah. Oh, shot very late on that peak, by the way. Considering the drone got shot out. Maybe could be timing on the communication.
Don't know how he's being allowed out of that. A little bit of luck on the side of player.
Had no deployable shield, no utility. Was just very much on a piano. Not even an island, just on the piano. Over a minute and a half remaining in the round. Man, Esports get a reprieve that time. The mistake goes unpunished. As Karma slips in towards Westmain. Kari with an opening kill onto Shot. There goes the Buck. Reliance now on the 2 remaining Boogie auto breaches of Reelers on the Ram. To obviously open up some of these floorboards, I imagine over towards Fireplace. Kara in towards Blue. It's actually triple stack Blue, although Chef Jeff will make his way out. Scars as well still in games and hasn't been spotted. He's about to be, though.
There you go. Can they act on that information? Perhaps they ignore, but you are a player down, so the idea for Panic here is to try and put this guy on an island.
Yeah, he's gone for it.
Get it back to a 4v4.
River's got to go. River's got to help him out here. Forget the stairs push. You've got 40 seconds. Like, come on now. You've got Reelers in a really good position. He can't retreat Barstock. Okay, it's Owen. Why is Owen going Barstock, though? There's another drone out. So it's a double stack over towards Barstock. They're watching the same angle. Owen's going to create a 1 versus 1 here where he can't really get traded. Fortunately, though, he's looking the other way. Player actually got a kill anyway onto Karma. So 1 for 1, you wasted 30 seconds. You're still down a player to just take games. And then Kyra just peeks Blue anyway because they know you're over towards Library Stairs. This is a real easy defense for Man Esports. Panic have just been at C in this round.
Yeah, that was a poor clear. I think they'll be the first to admit the way in which they were able to, the way they reacted to the information was relatively poor. Same angles being held. No bait double window. All just a little bit too slow. And so, unfortunately for them, it was a 1 for 1. 30 seconds down the drain. They then knew exactly where the push was coming from. So
Technical pause as Karma has to go to the toilet. That was quick. The other thing I want to say, though, in that round, I mean, Man Esports, to their credit, I mean, talk about when you very much are playing basement on Chalet, Snow White, there's always going to be that some kind of extension up above, roam up above, if you will. And I thought Cairo was actually tasked with a very difficult position, playing Kitchen basically by himself, looking to deny any kind of West Main push or trophy entry. He did that really well. Eventually got a kill with a Nitro Cell. And then they had one over towards Games as the late lurk, which can be very strong because you can basically push over towards like bot Library Stairs if that's eventually a push coming in through Blue. You can also then rotate over towards West Main. If Karma's just sat back down, if this game is now fixed because Karma's gone back down, then it's a cheeky tech pause to go to the toilet. But if not, then maybe it is actually real. Either way, Man Esports have taken the lead. And question marks for Panic so far here on Chalet Attack. Round prior got stalled out. Snow Wine probably chose the wrong target option and certainly did so poorly.
what is Chef writing? Are we getting a Chefy Jeffy album soon? There's some straight fire going down right now.
Maybe he's just writing down his thoughts.
Bit of the mid-game journal.
Yeah.
Just let it air out.
You know what, though?
Maybe I should do that in ranked. Instead of getting angry at you, write
Just
down
write
my thoughts.
Yeah, write down your thoughts. I tell you what, it's not a bad shout.
That could be revolutionary.
You know, sometimes there's moments in games where you just have that little moment of clarity. Just write it down. Oh, I shouldn't have done this. Write it down. Or I should have played this way. Write it down. And then you can go back, read it, improve. No idea what the man is writing down. Hopefully it's
Perhaps
something...
we will be able to ask in the post-match. If
Potentially. 1 round to go in this half. There's another tech pause. is taking its time. And it's not Karma. So he's off the hook. Got to remember it is Chalet as well. So 3 defensive rounds here for Man Esports, I think is pretty good.
Yeah, it's respectable. I will say in some parts, unfortunate for Panic because a couple of the rounds they've lost is just been poor fundamentals where if it was otherwise a little bit more refined, they'd probably actually have done a much better job in
maybe
keeping the rounds competitive. So.
I think the decision making of Man Esports has been overwhelmingly better. Although I say that, and Chef Jeff made that decision there over towards Boiler. It's definitely gone both ways at times. But these are just kind of one of those scrappy games. Probably a quite literal case of who can just make the least amount of mistakes. Good shot there from Sean. Certainly been some really good moments as well from Panic. You think about player who's been playing the library stairs position as well, has kind of just gone walkabout at times. And there's a really good example of that, which created some openings, but there's always been the trades that have been available. Kairo's had a good game. For his sake, very much an easy one to praise here on Chalet. As we finally get underway. 3-2 scoreline. Cairo top fragging at the moment for the side of Man Esports, tied with Hunter. For Panic it is. Reelers and Karma, both with 5. Not quite as much sharing the love for Panic at the moment. Need to see that Grim be far more impactful as we go to office and bedroom here. This is the site too, where it can be so strong. Not seeing enough defensive positions flushed out. Not seeing enough pings go out. Not seeing that Hive launcher really used to its biggest capability.
I'm curious to see as well, what will the counterplay be here onto the library stairs hold once more? Karma, we've seen a few times, has been pretty eager to just lurk inside of mud and sort of wait for player to over-aggress off the back of, game sense or a particular read to go down below. If player is more committed to that position, we're going to have to see the util clear game from Panic be a lot cleaner. And we're not seeing the Flores, for instance, this time around. And so with limited explosives available and the Jaeger in play, player's position here should be very difficult to take down and may prompt a rotation over towards Solar. But he's gone wandering again. He's on the prowl. He can't help himself.
He can't.
If he dies first, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah,
okay, it wasn't him.
There was a brief moment where you were probably thinking it was about to be, though, wasn't it? You saw that come up in the kill feed. Player, though, again down, roaming in the hallway through bar at the moment. I mean, it's not the worst. Like, this is the thing. When it goes wrong, it's easy to criticize. When it works, it's very easy to praise. It's just high risk, high reward gameplay from player right now.
What is it?
High risk, high reward.
You have to say it slow. High risk, high reward.
It is. I'm getting old. All yellow ping information here off of that drone. Player, there is the high reward. The kill onto Sean. As he's gone walkabout, it has paid dividends. 90 seconds left, 4 versus 4. Player is taken now quite low. But he can make a move and continue forward ahead.
What is this push? I'm so confused. If Panic are trying to cook something up over towards Solar, we need more pressure on the stairs right now. It's all well and good to have a player outside trophy window, another side outside west main, but if your players on the rappel, Solar aren't dislodging,
He's done it again.
They're not going to be going there.
Double kill for player. Very easy to criticize, but right now he's getting all of the praise. Yellow pinged out in the hallway. Real is now pushing up west main. Oh, lovely shot. A flick into the soft wall. Cairo, though, immediately for the trade. He was in good position. And with that, under a minute left, Man Esports again have got themselves the numbers advantage. River and Owen, who I believe were both on the rappel side of Solar, have kind of also fallen off. They've really gained nothing. Slow crouch as well. Shot from Cairo and Dining is perfect. Question marks of the attack of Panic here on Chalet. River now in a 1 versus 3 solo. Very little time. Kit down over towards West Main as well. And you can clearly see how worried he is for Cairo. 6 and 3. Gets off that position. Default shot out. Hive launcher used. Top here of Solar. but he's also going away from the kit.
15 seconds to go.
10 seconds then.
10
Round's
seconds
over.
remaining.
He's not going to win it. Man, Esports lock out that final defensive round in this half. Panic crumble a little bit, I think, under some pressure late there. Unable to respond from what Man Esports were presenting. That aggression down below proved to be too much for them to break. Can they flip it, though, on defense?
Oh, what a swing from a player. Yeah, I mean, it's very much a case of the good and the bad, right? You go for that walkabout. If you're going to be pushing bar games and eventually pushing away from library, looking to go for that first floor roam, we saw both instances of it where, okay, there was more of an emphasis from the attack going towards library stairs. Player gets caught, pushing away from a good position. This time around, though, there was less, basically no emphasis on library stairs. It's very heavy over towards like Trophy, West Main, Solar. And so with that kind of information, it probably was the right play from player to then actually push off of the stair position. So 5 and 5. Solid defense from player and from Man Esports on the defense. They got 4-2. Panic now will get their time, get their chance. Interestingly enough, they actually bring out the Thorn. Double deployable shield setup as well. And the Solace employed by Karma.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
The Brava and the Capitao. Interesting changes here. The Nomad as well for Man Esports. A real shake-up from both teams. Now flipping over to their respective sides.
So Karma then with quite an important role in this
Oh,
round.
don't do it. Karma. Woo. Woo.
Oh, no.
No, he got baited by Cairo.
Good read by Cairo to respond like that.
So easy in that moment for Karma to just go for it, but you're on the defense. You've got info. You can play off of that. You don't have to get over-aggressive, and in the end, punished by a player with a lot of experience. Cairo has been a real standout right now for Man Esports. Pretty classical hold over towards Fireplace. Double deployable shield setup as well for Man Esports, and they can play sight. Scars, good little bit of intel towards library side. Is he going to go for this as well? Oh,
That's a kill.
that's a pixel. Shoot.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there you go. One tap. Thought for a very split second he was going to allow Realist to get away. Talk about a double down now for Man Esports. 2-player advantage, and he knows there's another one tucked in on the right side corner. Hunter gets the kill onto Owen. He was droned out. Rivers 1 and 6, and he just panics. Oh, shot looking the wrong way. Flawless for Man Esports, and a capitulation to begin on the defense for Panic. Man Esports all over them here on Chalet.
Yeah, and it felt like a really critical round, I think, for Panic to try and find some stabilization in this match with things unraveling on the attacking half. They really, in my eyes, needed to see themselves kickstart nicely defensively. Karma wins this. They probably then, you know, statistically are more likely to go on and win the round, and we're probably singing their praises, but it did very much snowball from that position. Players caught off guard as well. Mezzanine broken very easily. It shouldn't be that free. There needs to be util expended to get value from that as a defender, and just really wasn't the case. A lot of straight up gunfights for Man Esports, a lot of favorable fights at that, and a relatively straightforward round win from a team that is performing well at the moment side of the server. Cairo 8-3, certainly a standout. And player, despite struggling earlier, has also found himself in the game as well.
Yeah, and look, it's early days. It's only day one. But these kind of matchups for these two teams respectively are actually very important. Akin to our first one that we had, where I kind of look at both matchups as two teams that I would kind of put close by to each other in terms of skill level. And right now, Man Esports are kind of gaining that separation. The same way we saw from Antic versus Carlton's Knights, you kind of now rank very much Antic above Carlton's Knights. Well, you can now do that as well with Man Esports. They go out and close this game. And it means stand for Panic, they probably then find themselves in that lowering of the pecking order. You know, if you're behind Man, you're arguably then behind Antic, which is behind Bliss, etc. And before you know it, you're like the 5th, 6th team already. And you're already then going to be fighting to avoid the bottom 2 position. Early days, very much, but kind of setting the stakes here early on as to kind of what they're fighting for in terms of seeding, trying to make top 6. 2-5 scoreline on the defense. Can you bring it back? We'll have to see. So far, Man Esports haven't made too many mistakes. And I love the lineup here in terms of offensive power. the Grim, the Yana, the Deimos, the Lion, and the Zofia can all be facilitated together as just sheer aggression if they go fast, somewhat similar to what we saw in the last round.
A lot of this attack is going to hinge around finding what we call the trigger point, where you identify the weaknesses, that's the phase they're in at the moment, and then syncing on a push altogether at the same time, being snappy with the information that's available, getting the value from the Hive launcher in combination with the E1D as well on the Lion.
I think the castle can be tracked right now, as you can see, left of field here from Chef Jeffs. Oh my god, what a shot to Owen. That's not even the castle. Just a shot through the wall. The Vendetta is so strong. Double stack over towards Jigsaw on the Belk. Lovely swing, though, from Player. Finds the kill. Sorry, it was Realers who got the swing. Player also found one onto River at the exact same time, which does mitigate that kill a little bit. 3 versus 3. And suddenly Panic actually getting involved in this round. And that 0-1 is over towards Ego. Good shot again from Realers. Should know, also holding close on Jigsaw is indeed Scars. 3 from Realers. He's controlled that balcony so well in the round. And Panic showing life here in the 8th round.
Oh, the plaudits go to Realers. What can Hunter do in this position? I don't think Panic have a read based on the body language of Karma on the other side. He's not looking the right way, of course. And I don't think he's in a tradable position. So Hunter, if he finds this one, gets it down into a 1v2. It is possible. No Hive launch util though. So it goes without saying this will be a real challenge.
Hunter now goes for the swing, but up close, and a little crouch there from Karma wins it pretty comfortably. Solid round from Panic. Big turnaround from them. They looked a little bit gloomy as well in the cameras on the end of that last round. This time a little bit more happier with the performance in that 8th round. 3-5. Still avoiding that match point scenario as well. Kitchen and dining to come. Were you there the whole time?
Yeah, credit to Realers though as we look across at the replay package. Chef Jeff trying to get to work with the death mark. In fact, looking to deploy it actually whilst that swing came through. So well timed by Realers, and that was really the name of his game throughout the round. Gets the first. Wins that against Player. Probably not a fight that he should have been able to win, but nonetheless a nice shot. And then the final aggressive trade with the Super Shorty. Some really good work. In a round and in a moment where Panic needed somebody to step up. He was the player to do it in round 8. Going forward, we're now going to look at the rest of the team to follow him in his footsteps.
Yeah, and also considering that we're down 2-5 for the scoreline, the ability for them to just get a little aggressive, go for those kind of swings, try and make those kind of plays. Really telling for a team that's probably just not going to fear the potential result if it does not go to plan. They backed themselves in, gave themselves a chance, and with that they got rewarded. Still at a disadvantage. Long way back after a bit of a shaky start to this game of Chalet. But you can find the confidence pretty quickly. If a couple of rounds get going in your direction, you can very much just kind of sit on that train and take it the whole way to Happy Town. Wouldn't you love to go to Happy Town, Gus?
I would love to go to Happy Town, but I'm currently in work mode, Jake.
Well, these players are very much in work mode as well. In towards trophy for Cairo. It's an easy kill from the left-hand side. Realers caught completely napping.
He was trying to clock off in the kitchen. Just got caught off guard.
Yeah, I mean, just swift entry from Cairo.
Oh, not another one. This would be a gnarly angle.
Lovely angle that has been established. And of course, the air jab deployed as well for that trophy stairs push. But we won't set it off with the observation. We get through. We got the cheats.
Oh, he almost won that fight too. There was a drone that confirmed the position of that defender.
Ooh, freebie, potentially.
That's River on the Warden, 1-8. Been a rough game for him. I don't really have anyone in position though, I don't think, to dislodge that. Cairo has heard one on the stairs though. Drone to confirm, flash to come through, Cairo to swing, but he's
Hunter
unable
was on the rappel.
to find said kill because Hunter is on the rappel.
Really good teamwork. The communication there for Man Esports. Karma, though, eventually pushed through from bathroom. Another one on the rappel. You know that. Oh, Hunter stayed. Shot as well out for the bow. Karma, lovely shot. Woo! Solo play on the Solar side. And gives Panic the ever important advantage. 3 versus 2 with 60 seconds remaining. Chef Jeff up above.
Tell you what, that
Kid's outside as well.
was a get out of jail free card. The fact that he was able to retake that solo position that Cairo had on lockdown, very impressive.
Well, he's got to go get the kit. There's 40 seconds left.
Could hunt for kills, maybe. They've got info.
Players on the other side of the map. Oh, yeah, freebie. Little lurk in through Dining Hallway, and River goes down 2 versus 2 with a red ping on site, continuing to just put pressure.
Oh.
And with that, player. Oh, Artec turn in the round. Woo, that second and final shot from player. Exquisite. Lovely team play. So much emphasis, I think, defensively from Panic there because of that buck in terms of sight that they just lost sight of player lurking through hallway. Oh, Karma did his job over towards Solar. You can replay that one again. Let's watch it. Nasty. But how do they lose the round from here, guys? They didn't have kit. It was outside.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Yeah, I mean, the teamwork really ebbed and flowed throughout that round. We saw a really good clear of the Solar Stairs position, facilitated largely by Cairo, and then the Rappel. We saw the retake, very successful from Karma. But then because top floor was eventually vacated, the Buck was able to get to work with player on site. As the defender, you had to move, gun down, player's there, finds a pretty easy pick on the first, and then trades it up with the back-to-back. So some really clean work there from both teams, but ultimately, man, Esports prevail in that instance, so they have 3 match points now, up 6-3. Attacking into Chalet in a very, very good position, I think, to take all 3 points.
Yeah, and it would be deserved as well. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Karma. I mean, his little highlight play probably won't be as highlighted now. That's certainly one you'd put on the Twitter, but now it's like, well, we lost the round, so should we? I don't know if you can celebrate it now. It's all for naught. 11-7 from him has been great, but no one else on the team has really been able to match it. I mean, Realers has certainly had some good moments as well, but Sean, Owen, River, certainly performances they would certainly like to forget. Far more of a team effort when it comes to Man Esports, though. They've all kind of had their moments, all been involved at various points. Hence why they've got now 3 match points in this game. It is Karma again, though. Opening kill on to Scars. He's going to have to do it all himself for the moment. 12-7.
Brava in play then for the 10th round, and the Kludge drones being used. We saw just the back end of it to hack those Banshees from the Malusi. So slow tools available in combination with the Tubarao as well. Common upside down rappel angle being utilized here by Cairo. Claymore down below to protect him from the run out. He'll then fall off. Eyes back on those Kludge drones, which again, plenty of pieces of utility that can be collected, including the catch of the Jaeger and the Wamai combo. That can then help with follow-up utility like the flashbangs and the smokes from the Yana and the Brava itself. Karma, though, will post up inside of Bathroom. This is a do-or-die position. He senses that and elects to back off.
Yeah, I mean, he got one from there before, and then actually, as soon as he got that kill, was not really moving around too much. Oh, he's just held the whole way through. Might get another one here out on the rappel. Not an easy shot, not an easy kill, but he finds it onto Cairo, who was just kind of moving about. Moving target. Yellow ping. Oh, shot, easy one. Chef Jeff just kind of creeps in towards Dining. Unaware, and the plant can go down from Hunter. Karma again required. Nitro cell from below for Sean, and it's great. Woo! Karma got his, and so did Sean following up with the Nitro. This one's not over just yet.
Yeah, snappy response. I mean, Panic really just didn't put a foot wrong towards the back end of that round, and I think, man, we're trying to just test the waters with a couple of little ideas there towards the end, but every single one of them met a very, very abrupt end. No one was, necessarily allowed to pressure into sight too much. Definitely not allowed to go deep. So a good shutdown there from the defense. Perhaps this match still has another twist in it as we work ourselves closer towards a potential OT.
It's certainly not impossible to imagine Panic being able to get 2 more rounds on the defense. Bedroom and office, very good sight.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
Question is, where would you go from here? Do you go above games? Do you go down below? Not really a question that will be needing to be answered so far at this point. Still 2 match points for Man Esports. Karma 14-7. Hits the 2.0 KD. Obviously for River 1 and 10, not quite having a performance that you would like, but having been in this position myself quite frequently when I play these games, it's all about keeping the mental in check and understanding that, okay, it's not your game, but how can I help Karma? How can I help facilitate the rest of my team? Call-outs, positivity, being able to impact the server by, you know, being traded.
Call-outs. What was the second one?
Positivity.
And being traded.
Yeah.
You don't do any of those.
I certainly don't. Well, I definitely don't get traded.
You might try.
I don't get traded.
You might try, but it doesn't work. But, I mean, piss take aside, your points are completely valid. If you're not finding yourself into the server in the frag department, there are, and that's the beauty of Siege, many other ways where you can be contributing, giving off information, putting yourself in tradable positions, as you mentioned. Basically, just put your body on the line for Karma to follow up, and it's probably a fair condition. If you're able to extract one of those key attacking execute operators off the board, like a Cap or a Lion, even the Grim, can be a difference maker.
Yeah, and you never know when your opportunity might actually come your way. Someone pushes into you, you get a freebie, play off of that, suddenly you get a couple of kills with that, the confidence, so you just got to stay ready. But yeah, these are pressure moments when you're kind of just running around, the frag grenade, and River's got no idea what to do! Well, he does just get overwhelmed there in Solar. The utility, the pressure from below, all too much for him to deal with. Karma does stand up, though, to the occasion. Retakes trophy stairs. One still out on the rappel. Just over 90 seconds left. Man Esports, though, certainly still in a really solid position to take this round.
I mean, it's just really good util layering from the attack. There really wasn't much River could do from that position, except for trying to find one and dying anyway. Unfortunately, wasn't able to, but at least created a pocket of space for Karma to eventually find one. In the meantime, though, Owen did swing to trade River. Didn't land. So they will be fighting from behind the defense, not just in terms of the round, but again, the scorecard as well. 4-6. Man Esports looking to lock it out.
E1D, now the entry, but Realiz was holding the angle the whole time. And one in towards bedroom, spotted, shot, kill onto Cairo. 2 left up now, 4-man Esports. Karma dealt with, talk about taking out the big dog of this particular game. Over towards Solar side, shot in towards Office. Has got lines of sight and a bit of help over towards the half wall. It's Realiz and Shot together. Hunter has got the kit.
Their own smoke utility is stalling them out. So player's going to have to reposition. Does have one flame left, but effectively it's a 1v2 as the plant goes down.
Smoke up, go for the plant.
Doesn't have any. He already used them and he wasted them.
2 drones. Got something that you can kind of use here. Hunter now going in. Incendiary to maybe try and block a close angle position. Watching the doorway. Hunter gets off of it because of the nitro cell that was thrown out, and Shot follows up the kill. Now on a 1 versus 1. Hunter. Well, at this point, Realiz doesn't have to make a move. For now, Kit, Noise, Made. Now he's going to have to get going. Not a lot of time for Hunter to re-stick this. Realiz thinks he's on the right side, but he's actually left. Makes contact with the shots that go out, but still up close, hits the headshot. Game's not done yet. Panic will make it 6-5. Realiz will hold on in the clutch.
Defenders win.
Big clutch. Real is being given that opportunity to change the direction of his crosshair. He made a 50-50 call initially, the wrong one, but then was allowed to correct. And again, going back to that early portion of the execute, I'm again assuming that the Cap laid down the smokes early to allow entry from the rappel. So perhaps I was a little bit critical in that moment. Post that, the asphyxiating...
Whoa. TT was called and we don't get anything.
Well, we'll see what the call is on that. The asphyxiating bolt then was positioned nicely, and they almost got the kill, but some good mechanics from Panic kept them in that particular round. Sounds like the tactical...
Yeah, well, apparently, I'm just literally reading the same chat everyone else can read, but Coach never called it. So, an opportunity now presents So Man Esports wanted the tactical timeout, talk things over. Well, you guess what? You still can, just without the coach. You got your opportunity here in the prep phase to just talk things over. We head to Bar Games for what will be the final round of regulation. Panic Esports in their organizational debut here for Rainbow Six is looking for their first win, and would be a very classical one if they can bring it back from what was originally a 2-5 deficit. On the defensive Chalet too, has been rather defender-sided.
Again, I think the last round, the macro play towards the end with the Capitao and the repositioning and the cover and the plant was okay, but just fell short in terms of minute execution, very small margins. And that is why this game has felt so close, because there have been quite a few of those minute moments, close affairs. So we'll see how this one plays out. Karma will continue to be the danger man, 15 kills. Solus, he has the license to roam. It's a mezzanine hold from Panic. And the Capitao has been brought once more from the attack. Could be a tool in dislodging that now, or perhaps can be pocketed for a little while later. It is the Wamai, I believe, posted in that position, and it is, so that's something that the Capitao needs to account for.
Well, as we reach the 90-second mark, opening kill goes the way of Scars of Man Esports. Trade finished off with the impact. Karma able to be impactful once again. Red ping information. As the top of the mezzanine looking to be cleared. On the chimney side, Hunter holds the long angle in towards Library. Reelers essentially cannot move. Needs to hold his position, go down with the ship from that position, fight until the end. Yellow pings as well, coming in towards Piano. So Reelers knows there's pressure big window, there's pressure in towards office, pressure towards Library side. There's a lot of different angles that he essentially needs to hold, be mindful of. Drone will come out. He gets a little bit nervous, throws out the impact. Another disc to help his positioning be fortified. Under 50 seconds left. Player over towards Jigsaw. And Man Esports are setting up for that push.
Dying here is fine. He just needs to make sure he has one with him. River as well is holding from top Library stairs. We can see the cross here at the moment. Very traditional mezzanine cross from the defense. Man Esports have not really done much in disrupting that.
There's the push, comes through. The battle won though by the defender behind the shield. It's Reelers who does beat out Chef Jeff. Suddenly time a factor, good little swing. Is that kit down as well? Big window, goes for the peak. Now the push in towards Piano for player. There's not a lot of time though. Kit also needs to be retrieved. Karma now can sit sight and Kara over towards Library stairs. They are very set up though, Panic. Oh, but player comes through the corridor. There's only one left. They can go hunting for Karma. He's been the best player inside of the server. Yellow ping, didn't even get the down. And from the other side, player to finish it all off. They go for the kills. It's successful. Man Esports deal with Panic. In a bit of a barn burner to open up the stage between these two teams. Not quite going the distance, not quite overtime, but close enough. All rounds in regulation required, and Man Esports will get the win.
Yeah, snappy way to close it out. I mean, you have to feel bad, though, for the losing team in this instance, right? By mounting that comeback, almost pushing it to OT, an opportunity to maybe snatch a point, perhaps two, towards the standings. You walk away with nothing to show for that little comeback. So, unfortunate a little bit there for Panic, but in my eyes, Man Esports were the better team across this game.
Yeah, certainly a fun game. And I think there's also positives for both teams. You know, Panic Esports at least showed enough for me in that match that if they can continue to improve throughout the stage, there's certainly something there for them. Man Esports, though, to their credit, as things got a little bit dicey, they were able to rise to the occasion as well. Massive shout out to Karma. He had a very important and very strong individual performance, but not enough to salvage this game for Panic. On their org debut, they do fall short. For Man Esports, the team searching for an org, they get the win, their first of the stage.